Hey everyone, I'm Tsunani. Welcome to my new video. Look at this. I got myself the Mijello Mission Titanium Class Gouache. I know I'm late in this game, but it was impossible here in my country to buy them for a long time. I think it was 1 year ago I watched one video about these paints, then I was hooked and watched more reviews, checked out Amazon and the Mijello page and tried to find them, no success. Then a few weeks ago I found them in sale at one of our biggest art supply shop companies in Germany, and because they cost a lot of money, it took another 2 weeks until I made the final decision to order them. And here they are. They come in this nice looking box. This box includes 34 paint tubes, a 50 milliliter. They are printed on the back side of the lid and also in this information paper. Here you can find pigment informations and light fastness informations to every color, also a few example swatches from them mixed with white. And here they are. All informations for pigments and light fastness are also printed on the tubes. On Amazon I found this palette. I bought it because of what I still believed on this point in the video, that there are 33 empty spaces for paint in it. We will see later that there are only 28. What I will do next is to fill all of the 34 colors in my new palette here. First, I'm sorry, somehow my cam didn't record the first few colors. I also speeded the whole process up a bit so it's not too boring for you. For me it's always so good to fill new palettes with paints. It's so calming and just fun and inspiring. Meanwhile you're watching me filling this palette, I want to tell you a few promised facts about these paints. From Mijello promised, of course. Mijello advertises this product as gouache paints, which do not crack on our palettes after drying. They also should not get cracks if you use them very thickly on your paintings. This should be the perfect gouache for a dried palette, everybody could think, so I thought this as well. I'm using toothpicks to mix in a bit of the binder here and there, which has separated, but it's only a tiny bit, and to get them perfect in their pan. Oh, I already love these colors. On the last third of the colors, I recognized that there will be not enough space for all of the 33 colors. I planned to place the white on one of the mixing spaces from beginning on, because I thought I have space for 33 colors here. What I did is to place the last 5 colors also in these mixing spaces here to test all if they crack or not while drying and how are they to reactivate and so on. I prefer using paint out of pans and palettes. This makes the whole painting preparation a lot easier and faster until I finally can get started with my painting. So I wished for a good dried gouache palette. And I got one a few months ago, the gouache in pans from Caran D'ache, and I really love them. The only thing is, there are not a lot of colors available, and here and there I would like to use a bit more special colors. You can mix a lot of colors with them, yeah, and they are really enjoyable, but yeah, I wanted to have something else. And in this awesome set from Mijello, you get a lot of very beautiful colors, but I will come to this point later again. The second thing these paints promised is that it should be a hybrid between watercolor and gouache. You should be able to use them in both ways. And this also made me curious. I'm using another, let's call it hybrid paint, regularly the watercolors from Caran D'ache Gouache also feel like a watercolor gouache hybrid, but if you use them very thick, you get this shine. And I like it here and there, but I also like the matte finish of a good gouache. And for me, it is awesome to combine watercolor and gouache in one painting, but then you have at least 2 palettes on your desk. In this video, I will try out how versatile these paints can be. So now we will swatch all of the 34 colors. I'm using my Arrtx sketchbook today with 100% hot pressed cotton paper. I will first make a very thick swatch with very thick paint, and more thick than I would use them while painting, and then I will water them down and swatch them how I would swatch watercolors to see how they flow into wet areas. I was impressed about the brilliance of these paints. You need a tiny bit, only a tiny bit, for a vibrant tone. They flow nicely, not like gouache would flow in general into wet paper, and on the other hand, they are very opaque if you want them to. The color selection is awesome, and I already have a few favorite ones, like the Mijello blue. It's just beautiful. The very thick painted parts of the swatches here took a long time to dry. Later we will see I will have no problem with drying times in my painting, because you don't use the paint as thick normally as I did on the swatches here. I love the big range of blues in this set. Blues are always important for me. All in all, I had a very good first impression. One day later, the paints are still a bit wet and sticky in the palette, but I will start my little painting today, and I will paint the first layer and use them how I would use watercolors. That means I will test them wet and wet with watered-down pigments. I decided to paint a few poppies with the Cute Spirit Friends. The colors flow nicely into each other, but they don't flow as good as some of my watercolor brands, but not as bad as gouache would flow. I hope you can understand what I mean. It's more in the watercolor direction. But here you can also see that the paint is forming bloom effects more than my normal watercolors would do. The red is such a rich, vibrant red, and together with this Mijello blue, which is a dark and a bit violet blue, it's just beautiful. I love these colors together. This has to dry now. The cotton paper takes a while. So I think we are also one day later now, and the dried paints cracked a tiny bit here and there, but all in all they look quite good and stick in the palette. They not fall out or something like that. The dried paints are very easy to activate again, but they are not completely dry yet. I'm curious how long it will take until they are completely dried. I will tell you later. The plan is to build up my painting as I would do with regular gouache and use the paint more watered down if I need it. It was so easy to get opacity and also transparent tones. Mijello has a range of 5 stars for the light fastness. 5 stars are extremely light fast, and the most of the colors here have 5 stars. We have also some with 4 stars, which is good light fast. Only one color, Rose Madder, has only 2 stars, limited light fast, which is this very vibrant pink, but I expected this. And we have one color with 3 stars, which is the dioxazine violet, which means light fast. I was impressed when I saw the 5 stars on the Prussian blue, PB27, which is one of my favorite blues. But I'm always a bit sad that Prussian blue is a pigment which is typically not very light fast, I thought. I'm not a lot into pigments, but more and more I'm interested in, I have to say. Oh, and what I didn't tell you yet, you can buy all of these tubes individually, not only in sets. I first thought about buying only 12 colors for a customized palette, but then I had the feeling I will missing out on something. So I grabbed the biggest set they had. And I'm really happy about that. It's good to see all of them and play around with them, create mixes and find my favorites like this. And this is exactly what I wanted to have, more possibilities. I really wanted to have more gouache and high quality, but all the sets from the good brands include the typical starter palette, like a set of primary colors, black and white and sepia, and if you are lucky, it includes also a cool blue and another red or a green. But I wanted more, because if I would make my own limited palette, I would choose different colors than in all of these sets. Perhaps I should do this with you together someday. This paint is not like normal gouache. Look how the two colors flow together here. It's just awesome. I totally agree with Mijello. These are real hybrid paints and I love it. Perhaps these paints could be a new obsession of mine. To be honest, I'm kind of art blocked right now and I don't draw as much as I normally would do, and I'm bored from my own art. I have a lot of projects to work on, but I don't like my results. It feels if it's always the same. It's time for a development, but I don't know how and in which direction. And these paints made me inspired again. I'm still bored from my own art, but I think experimenting with these new paints could help me coming a bit out of my block. I hope so. I definitely have to try them on different papers, in my art creation sketchbook, for example. Since this April drawing challenge I did for my patrons, I enjoy painting flowers a lot. It is like a little break from my brain. I don't have to think about what magical scenery should I paint. I just paint a flower, and perhaps mostly a bit of magic happens anyways. That doesn't mean I stop to draw magical sceneries with my creatures. This just means here and there I make lower pressure to myself. I mean, this happens in general if I'm painting outside in the forest or on the beach in my sketchbooks. But I thought perhaps you don't want to watch content like this. Me painting a landscape or just trees and flowers or portraits. I really enjoy drawing portraits. But you know me, all of these motifs have to have something special, something magical, a little spirit friend, or it's overgrown with plants or mushrooms. I think this is the thing to find, to combine my fantasy world with realistic drawings or paintings. This would be awesome. And this is the path I'm walking on, I think. It's crazy that while I'm telling you all that, I'm finding solutions for myself. It's always good to talk about something, I guess, instead of stucking in silence in my own head. Look how the poppies seem to glow out of the center. I have to say, I really like these paints. They are so easy to use. And our little friends here also need a color. I decided to paint them blue. I think yellow also would have been nice, but I also like the color harmony in this painting. If I would have had an online shop, I would make prints out of it. I really like the result. I should finally finish my shop. There is no progress right now. It's a shame. And I also think about a second Patreon tier with monthly mini prints. All of this will be released in the next 2 months, I hope. This is a good point to thank my patrons for your support. You are just awesome. Thank you so much. And also a big thank you for all of you for watching my videos, for your likes and subscribes, and your so nice and kind and lovely comments. I read and answer them all as fast as I can. So let's have a final look at the dried paints after 5 days. So hey, it's almost a week later, and what we can see is the paints are dry, a bit sticky but dry, and there are almost tiny cracks, and the paint shrinked down a bit. What you can see here or here, but I don't care a lot because they stay in the palette, they don't fall out. What gouache normally does, and you can close it easily and pack it away, and that's really cool. So I think it's success. Then again, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have an awesome week, my friends. Stay creative and see you next time. Yours, Tsunani.